worked when a lot of those other programs out there don't, because we'd often have people coming in and talking to us about weight loss and what they could do for this and that. So we decided to put together this program, and we feel like it really encompasses all the different aspects of one, all the other weight loss programs out there, but also includes a lot more than that. So we think it's really a total package, basically, and kind of hits all the important points when it comes to a weight loss program, but also really stresses the idea of how important it is to be able to maintain your results, one, when you get there and you achieve your goals, and two, how important it is to have a program that's really personalized. So the idea is that, one person's journey through weight loss is not going to be the same as this person and as this person. And we even had some people in the last group, their goal wasn't really to lose weight, they are already very healthy. Their goal was more to just continue what they were doing, get even more healthy, or get a kind of a better hold on their health, get educated and all that. So it's not even a program really just to lose weight, it's really a life kind of style changing program, basically. The idea is that, we're not just going to force you into this mold and then shoot for a certain number to lose and then we're like, goodbye, go do your own thing. I tell everybody that when they're leaving this program that they will know exactly how to maintain the results going forward, and it'll be easy because one, they're not starving and they're not sacrificing. Everything they do is something that they've agreed to do. We've talked about, and they said, I'm okay with this, I think I can maintain and keep doing this. Alright, so that's kind of a little intro, but basically we're going to start with a question, which is, why are you really here exactly? Everybody's going to have a different reason for, wanting to do a program like this, whether it is specifically you have a number in mind and that's what you want to see on the scale, and then that's what you think will kind of fulfill whatever you're going for, or maybe you are just looking to be generally more healthy, you'd like to lose a few pounds, but you're not looking to drop a ton of weight, or maybe you already feel like you're pretty healthy, you're pretty happy with where you are, but you just want to get more educated or kind of get to a peak level, anything like that. So you kind of got to think about why you're starting a program like this and where you're at right now before you go forward, because if you don't know where you're starting out, then how can you make a plan really to go forward? I mean, if you're just walking around every once in a while going, I know I need to lose weight, or I'm not healthy, or this and that, then a starting point like that is not really a good place to be. You have to, one, kind of mentally be prepared, and you have to say, I know this is my problem now, this is my problem now, this is where I'm at, and these are all things that I have to change. Because part of the reason people, when they start a weight loss program and they go back or they gain the weight back, is because, one, they didn't really take a mental note of where they were at and what was causing the problems in the first place. They just think, well, I'm overweight, so I'm going to try this diet, then I'm going to hit a number, and then I'm going to go back to the way I was before. But the truth is, the way you were before is the reason you got there, not that some other thing was all of a sudden causing you to lose weight. And it goes beyond that too, and we'll get more and more into that. It's not all your guys' fault, don't worry. There's other things going on as well that we address in the program, but you really want to take into account why you're really here. So I know on the worksheet, do you guys all have lifestyle costing you? Again, this kind of goes with why you're here. A lot of people don't think about it in that sense of what is maybe this habit or this lifestyle costing me in the rest of my life, and I'll kind of give you an example, and we'll kind of run through, sometimes you want to think about maybe how my life could be better if I do a program like this, or are you unhappy potentially with the way things are going because of your lifestyle and maybe your relationships or your career, you think it could be better? Do you maybe lack the confidence to go for certain things you really wanted to do because of your weight, or because you just don't think you'll be able to? You're scared, or you don't think you're in the great enough shape to do something? Are you ignoring maybe certain aspects of your life because you're not happy with the way you look, or you don't think you've got the capacity to really do this or that? So this kind of goes back to, one, why you're here, and two, you really got to start thinking about what your weight or what your lifestyle may be costing you in other parts of your life, basically. Or maybe your health in general is just holding you back in certain areas of things you might want to do. Maybe you wanted to run a marathon or something. That's an example. Or do this or do that, and you think, well, I don't even know if I can start because I feel like I'm so out of shape, or I'm just not really happy with the way I'm in right now, and you don't really know where to start. So what I want you guys to do is just take a quick minute. You'll see on the top there, just 30 seconds to a minute, write down anything that you think, your lifestyle or your weight or this or that is kind of keeping you from doing. So you see it says, what are your weight, lifestyle, eating habits costing you? So go ahead and write some things down. People don't ever really make a change in their life until they become, disturbed, basically. And I know that's a strong word. People are like, I don't want to be disturbed about the way I feel about myself. But it's true. I mean, think about other times where you've had to make a change in your life. It probably wasn't just because you were like, well, it's not going that great, so I'm going to make this drastic change. No, a lot of times people have to really get to themselves to the point where, like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to have this kind of lifestyle, or I'm not going to be this weight anymore, I'm going to make a change now. So that's what these kind of exercises are about, is really showing yourself where you are now. And again, there's a reason that you're here. It's because you hopefully want to make a change. Otherwise, you're just here because you have nothing better to do on a Friday afternoon at 5:30. So let's get into kind of personal experiences. So, all you guys probably have a different experience with weight loss, whether you've maybe tried to lose weight and it didn't work out, you couldn't even do it at all, or you struggled to get started, so you said, I'm going to lose some weight, and you're like, well, alright, I guess maybe I'll just cut something out, or I'll skip lunch, and it didn't really work out. Maybe, this is your first time trying to lose weight, you've never really thought that you needed to lose weight before, and now all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe I'm getting to that point because either you think, you just don't like the way you look in the mirror, or you're a little more conscious about your health. I mean, it's not always just about, a specific number and a specific weight. You could be super skinny and still die of a heart attack at 45. Again, it's not all about the weight. It's all about, it's a healthy lifestyle is what's most important. If my goal as a physician is to decrease your chance of developing any sort of disease, basically. And if that means that you're gonna get there by losing a certain amount of weight, then awesome. And obviously this program is designed to do that as well. I'm not coming in here saying, well, I'm going to keep you from having a heart attack. We'll see if you lose any weight. Obviously you're here because you also want to lose some weight. So that's the main focus. It's really, when you think about your personal experience, it's kind of about defining the problem. When you think about how you've dealt with your weight in the past up to this point, that will kind of show you what your problem has been. Whether you're sure of what's caused the weight gain or you're not, it's all about defining your specific problem, because yours is going to be different than the next person, just like your kind of journey through forced. So does anybody want to share or have a question about anything they've experienced with weight loss or anything at all right now?
I'll go.
Sure.
About 10 years ago, I had a little trauma that I didn't want to get any more depressed about, so I gave up sugar.
Okay.
Like, I started in January, and by February and March, I was losing weight. I gave up sugar, including alcohol.
Gotcha.
And it got, like, by May, I thought I might have cancer or something, because the pounds were just falling off.
Yeah, yeah.
But suddenly they've come back, and I'm guessing it's because I can't sleep
Okay.
more than 5 hours a night.
Gotcha.
Because
All
I
right.
still, even when I was not eating sugar, I was eating tons of other food.
Yeah.
When I'd go out.
Yeah.
It made no difference.
Okay.
And the weight would still come off.
And that, you say this January recently? Or
No, about 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
actually.
okay. Just make sure. All right. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, and that definitely, we haven't really talked about it, but a lot of the parts of this program, it's not just all about changing the food. To give you an example, you're going to see changes in, a lot of different things, sleep, this and that, and an example, one of the people in the other group, and they're still going, they're not done yet, so they still have about a month or so left, but this person, when she came in, she had to go down the stairs on her hands and knees because she can't walk upright. She does now. She came in on a walker. She was complaining to me of acid reflux, vomiting all the time, pains in the joints, this and that. And obviously, like I told you guys, my goal in this program is one, to help you lose weight and get healthy, but we're always looking for unexpected outcomes, as I call them. And I'll go through some more of the unexpected outcomes we saw from the first group. But this particular person, she doesn't have to walk with a walker anymore. She doesn't have acid reflux. She doesn't vomit. She can walk up and down stairs fine. She doesn't have aches and pains anymore. She used to take 3 Excedrin a day. She doesn't take any more Excedrin unless she has to work the night shift, and then it's just 1 Excedrin. She's not afraid to eat food anymore, which was a big thing for her. She said half the food she ate, she'd get heartburn or she'd vomit. So she doesn't have to, she can eat basically whatever she wants, other than the things I told her that she should stay away from, obviously. But we get these unexpected outcomes, and that's something that, you know, for you, the sleeping issue may be something that is resolved through a program like this. And, you know, we've got another person in the program, kind of getting ahead, but more to your particular topic, we got another person in the program who had sleep apnea before he started. And now, as far as I know, he no longer has sleep apnea.
He's off the
yeah,
machine.
He's off the machine
That he was using to sleep at
and
night.
he's doing really good. So these are these unexpected outcomes we look for in a program like this, you know, because the way we live our life has a huge effect on our health, obviously, and a lot of
Probably before the program.
Yeah.
I know 2 people know I'm in the program. I'm in the first group, but I was sleeping horribly, and part of mine was hormone imbalance. And through doing this, I'm sleeping good. I'm getting some great dreams in. So
Yeah.
it's helped me too.
Definitely, and like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the results of the first group to give you guys an idea of what you could potentially expect. So, all right, so I put this chart up here. This is a BMI chart. So some of you are probably familiar. Who's familiar with what BMI is? Probably most people have heard that term at least once. So body mass index, and these are kind of the categories. You got underweight, normal, overweight, obese, extremely obese. But the reason I put this up here is because I want you guys to kind of focus more on the top, where you see various pictures of people. And again, this kind of goes back to knowing where you are now, but you know, what's your image of yourself, your body image, when you look in the mirror or when you think about yourself? You know, do you think this is an obese person, or this is a fat person, or a chubby person, or whatever? You know, what are you not happy with, and what do you think could be better, and what do you know that could be better through, one, weight loss and changing your lifestyle? So,
I can share.
okay, sure.
I was very unhappy with the fact that my underwear elastic used to fold down. It doesn't now. And my thighs, the rubbing of the thighs, very uncomfortable. Not so bad now. So, anyway,
Awesome.
it's much better to share it on this side.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. All right, well, again, if you want to share or raise your hand, just let me know. But
Otherwise, he'll just point at me.
yeah, we'll just have Lisa talk the whole time. So, all right. So now, hopefully, you guys have all probably got a pretty good idea of, you know, where you're at, why, one, you're here, and you know, what you need to either change or what you want to change about yourself. So you've got a good starting point. And again, that's important. You're not just going, well, I think I need to lose a little weight. You're going, I know this is what I'm not happy with, and this is what I want to change, and maybe this is where I want to be, and we'll get to the goals in just a little bit. But let's talk about some more fun stuff. So everybody likes to read those 5 weight loss myths and facts and all that kind of garbage you see on the internet. So we're going to talk about some myths, and we'll see who thinks these are true and not true. And so one myth I hear a lot of people say, if I just eat less and do more cardio, I'll lose weight, no problem. So who thinks that their solution to weight loss is just to decrease their calories and hit the gym really hard? I mean, most people probably think.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I know, you're going, what's wrong with that?
You're about
And
to
you know
find
what?
out.
For some people, I'm not going to lie. For some people, that may be all they need. But a lot of times, it's not. And a lot of times, I know plenty of people who work out. We have, there's actually a couple people in this group that have kind of already started a little bit ahead of, you know, you guys. just because of scheduling issues. But I've known plenty of people who tell me when they come in, you know, Doc, I work out 2 hours a day, I watch what I eat, I do this and that, and I don't lose any weight. And then I say, okay, all right, great, you know, you're already doing good, you're already in the right direction. And then I have them, you know, give me a food diary of a week. I had them do a toxicity report, and I have them do this and that, and I look at it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. So you told me that you eat really healthy and you work out, so it looks like you're definitely working out. But what you think is eating healthy or eating less calories is not really doing anything for your weight loss. It's not doing anything for your metabolism. So there's usually always holes in it. And if it's not that, then it's something like hormones or something else, and we're going to get into that. So, you know, it's not as simple as just trying to decrease your calories and hitting the gym. For some people that may work, but for a lot of people it doesn't really work out so easily. And if that's all their goal is, a lot of times it's not maintainable either, because one, they're not educated on what's going to happen when they start to lose weight. Alright, so it's my genetics. Everybody in my family is big with the slow metabolism or the big bone syndrome, all that kind of stuff. Because you guys are walking around with giant bones, you know, much bigger than the rest of the population. So, again, this is one I hear a lot. The genetics thing does come up quite a bit. And, you know, I'm not saying that there is no genetic factor whatsoever when it comes to weight loss and weight gain. There certainly is genetic factors with these various things, but it's one, knowing what they potentially could be, and if there is a genetic issue, there's always a workaround for something like this. There's always a way, unless you have if you have a thyroid issue, then that's kind of a different story. But even that, you know, we can work with. So, you know, you can't blame it on genetics. I'll throw out kind of a statistic that I think sticks for most people, and I call it the 70-20-10 rule, and it's kind of a generality, but a lot of times for the majority of the population, 10% of it is genetics, 20% of it is exercise, and 70% is all the stuff that nobody does. So diet, hormones, you know, natural this and that, all that kind of stuff that we really stress in this program. So genetics can play a component, but it's not, you know, people use it as an excuse, and when you use it as an excuse, it becomes a myth. So by exercising constantly every day at a high intensity, I can increase my metabolism and lose weight. This kind of goes along with number one a little bit, but there are people who think that, you know, who thought that maybe if they just started exercising, that would be the key? Has anybody maybe thought that? Yeah, some people have thought that, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's sure. And again, I'll say that, you know, there may be some people out there through just hitting the gym, they'll get some results, but again, you know, this one is more of a myth than this one, because a lot of times people start exercising, yeah, you burn extra calories, but a lot of times people will start eating more when they start exercising, or they'll change certain other habits, and it kind of cancels things out. So just thinking that you're going to hit the gym and you're going to lose a bunch of weight is not the right mindset. So that is definitely not true. I'll just buy no-fat or low-fat meals and have drinks with no-calorie sweeteners, and then I'll lose weight. So who thought that maybe at one time their option to lose weight was to just cut out all the fat and take a bunch of no-calorie food, you know, Diet Coke instead of regular Coke and stuff like that. You know, that information is getting out there a little bit more, but it's certainly a misconception that, you know, decreasing fat and decreasing calories is just going to solve all your problems. One, fat, and we'll talk more about this, fat is not the issue. I mean, it might be the issue, you know, that might be what's sticking in your head right now, but fat in foods is not the issue. I can tell you that right now. Unless you're eating piles of trans fat all day, fried chicken like crazy, then yeah, it's the issue. But for most people, fat is not the issue. And so, here's one I'm sure a couple people will probably think a little bit more about. My husband cuts out one thing and he loses 20 pounds in a month, but it seems like I have to all but starve myself to lose weight. this is something my wife has told me. She thinks that I lose weight no problem, which is true. I can, like I told you, I can gain and lose weight pretty easily because I know what works for my body and what doesn't. And I'm not going to say that there's no difference between men and women when it comes to losing weight. But I will say that when I hear women say this, and I think, well, why are you comparing yourself to your husband when you should be comparing yourself to other women? Because in that sort of playing field, it's even. I mean, if you were to say, well, you know, all women have trouble losing weight, that's not the truth. But there are a lot of different factors when it comes to the difference between men and women and weight. A lot of hormonal issues come into play here. So those are the real big differences, and we address those in the program. So why can't I lose weight and keep it off? So we're going to start talking about, you know, the reasons why people struggle with weight loss. So obviously I just kind of talked about it a little bit, unknown hormonal imbalances. And this does come into play more for women than it does for men. And when I say hormonal in this case, I'm not talking about maybe the hormones that are associated specifically with hunger, but I'm talking about more like the hormones associated with the various body systems, your adrenal glands, your thyroid glands, this and that. So I'm not going to, you know, weigh you down with all the sciencey stuff right now, but the point is that if you have an unknown hormonal imbalance or a subclinical hormonal imbalance and you're trying to lose weight, you're basically, you know, fighting an uphill battle. It's probably not going to happen, or you're going to have to go to drastic measures to overcome that hormonal imbalance. Environmental stressors, toxins, medications, various things like that. We take a lot of junk into our body from the outside world, whether it's from regular medication or it's basically from non-natural sources. And these have a strong effect on our body. And certain people process these things differently. Eventually they build up. You start to clog your livers, various organ systems. And when that happens, you know, the organs that are involved with processing fat, basically primarily the liver, if they can't do their job, what the heck do you think the fat's going to do? It's kind of like if you got a sink, let's say your liver is a sink, all right? And instead of water, fat water goes into that sink. And it's supposed to take it and do its thing and kind of get rid of what you don't need and hold on to what you do need. Well, if that starts to get clogged up, it can only work so fast, so the excess fat has to go somewhere, obviously, probably the places you don't want it to go. So by getting rid of these environmental toxins, we can affect weight loss. Emotional and psychological needs, this is obviously a big one for some people, whether you're a stress eater or maybe eat when you're upset, this and that. I'll tell you right now, we all have some form of psychological association when it comes to food. Everybody, whether it's stress or upset, or I've had people tell me they eat more when they get happy. So we all have some association, psychological association with food. And if we can figure that out, we can anticipate when something may come up, and we can obviously make a much better choice because we're aware, we know what's going to happen. You look like you have a question.
No.
Okay.
Not occurred to me, that's all.
Not exercising right or not at all. So, obviously exercise is important. And I know I said earlier, it's a myth saying you can just go to the gym and lose weight. But we really should be exercising. I mean, the science is there, the studies show it. You got to do some kind of physical activity. It's only going to help. Having said that, you know, in the program we talk a lot about exercise, and I'll get into that. It's not everything. You know, there's a lot more that you need to do than just exercise. Unable to regulate appetite and cravings. So people struggle with sometimes their ability to regulate their cravings. You know, I had a person in our first program constantly craving sweets all the time. Another person who's just recently started, he constantly craved chocolate every time after every single meal. So these kind of cravings, we have to learn how to control those. We have to find ways to control them. But we'll talk more about it. But it's not always your fault. Again, everybody associates cravings with willpower, and willpower is really maybe 20% of it. The rest has a lot to do with, one, what you are eating, two, your general hormone imbalance or balance, and 3, kind of your level of certain activities. So there's a lot more to it than just your willpower. Worrying too much about decreasing fat and calories. So people who go on weight loss programs or diets, whatever, they get really caught up in the idea that I'm just going to decrease fat and decrease calories. And I already kind of talked to you about how that's not the answer, because fat is not the enemy, and sometimes calories aren't really the enemy. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Not in the right place mentally. Obviously, when you're starting a weight loss program, one, you gotta be in the right place mentally. Like I said, it can't be 20 or 30%. It's got to be 100%. You got to know that this is going to make a lasting change in your life. This is going to make you better at the end, and it's going to help you make those around you better as well. So you really have to be in the right place mentally, for sure. So what can we do? So let me talk a little bit about what we're going to be kind of doing in this program, because you're probably like, this guy's talking about all this stuff, he hasn't told me anything about the program yet. So we're going to address 5 key areas, alright? That's not a big number, it's not 7 and 10, 13. We keep it simple, so it's 5 key areas. Alright? Metabolism. Obviously, that's a big one. Metabolism is how your body burns things when you bring it in. Appetite, talked a little bit about that. We got to be able to control the appetite and modulate the appetite in order to kind of control things that we eat. Mentality, obviously I just said that you got to have the right sort of mentality when, 1, you're in a program, and 2, when you're going forward. Because if you come out of a program and you say, great, I hit my goal, I'm going to just do whatever now, I'm going to go to Wendy's and eat that large Frosty and those fries that I haven't had for 2 or 3 months, and then I'll kind of get back on the wagon. That's my one meal that, that doesn't work. You have to develop that sort of mentality where you're, 1, always positively reinforcing yourself, and 2, your mindset has to be that this is my lifestyle now, not what it was before, but in order for that to stick, you also have to be happy with it, and that's very important. Hormones. So, if you haven't noticed by now, hormones is a big deal here, alright? And we have to be able to, 1, modulate those in people whose issue is hormones if they can't lose weight. And we certainly do that in the program through various means. So, and again, it kind of depends whether, it's a male or female, but you can have hormone imbalances in both males and females. So that's a big part of the program that we address. Fitness, like I said, you do need to be doing some kind of exercise, but a lot of times people don't really know what is the most beneficial, or what's the biggest bang for their buck, this or that. So fitness is another key component of the program. So 5 things there: metabolism, appetite, mentality, hormones, and fitness. Alright, and I'm going to tell you in a little bit about how we affect these 5 key things. Did it start over? Okay. If we can make a lasting change in these 5 simple key areas, then we can really make a healthier version of ourselves that we're going to be able to maintain, because it's like I told you, these changes you're making in your life are things that you are agreeing with, that you're happy with, and you don't feel like you're sacrificing. So, let's talk about the facts of weight loss, weight gain, and all that fun stuff. So, if you skip a meal to save calories, which I know plenty of people have done, and I'll tell you a little story of my dad, and you go up to 12 hours sometimes without eating, you're decreasing your metabolism by up to 40%. So you're cutting your metabolism in half, basically, if you think, I'm going to skip a meal to save calories, and that's going to be fine. Everybody talks a lot about the calories in, calories out type thing. And you know what? Yeah, it does hold true in people whose problem is more calories in than calories out. If you've got an issue with hormones, if you've got an issue with irregular metabolism, this or that, then that idea of calories in, calories out most likely won't hold true to you. So my dad was a big problem with this, and he knows that he would, every time we'd go over there for like Thanksgiving or Christmas or something, he'd be like, well, I'm not going to eat lunch so I can save my calories for later and eat this big old meal, and then I'm going to go on the couch and fall asleep in 5 minutes. So a lot of people do that because they don't know, they just assume, I'm saving my calories, but it wreaks havoc on your metabolism. It really tears you up. So this is a study, Women's Health Initiative. They took 50,000 women and put them on low-fat diets, which everybody thought low-fat, that's the answer to my weight loss. Followed them for 10 years, found on average they lost 2.5 pounds. That's negligible. I gain and lose 2.5 pounds in a day. Alright, so going on a low-fat diet, basically, it does nothing. That's not going to be the answer. Alright? Regular consumption of diet soda increases waist size by 70% on average. 70%. So, let's say for guys, you're size 36 or size 32. Could you imagine being a size 50 something, or women? You guys do the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 stuff, whatever that means. You know, let's say you're a 10, now you're going up to a 17 potentially. So these changing or using food that has these calories, you know, 0-calorie sweeteners, basically they're not the answer. They don't help. They make things worse. So in the program, we're about creating new alternatives, basically. So through the program, we're going to create empowering new thoughts, beliefs, and habits. Because when something's a habit, it becomes very easy. You don't even think about it. Think about when you got up and you drove to work today. Did you focus on getting in the car and starting up and driving and turning this way? You know, you've done that hundreds, thousands of times, so it becomes a habit. You don't have to think about it. It doesn't stress you out every time you do it. So when you create new habitual, healthy patterns, it becomes very easy. It basically becomes something you think that you should do, or that you know that you should do, but you don't have to think about it. It just becomes easy, natural, basically. And these new alternatives we're going to create are based on factual evidence. So we're not having you do weird, kooky stuff in this program that, you know, we thought up and we're like, yeah, we're going to weigh some chickens over their heads and do chants and then they're going to lose weight. This is all based on real factual evidence, real studies. And from this, basically, we create goals. So this is, we're getting into what the program really is now. So you know, this is the thing, and we're back to the 5 easy, yet I call them easy yet powerful choices because one, they're not huge, ridiculous changes, but they make a huge change in your life, basically. And again, it's just 5, just like we had 5 key parts, we have 5 choices, alright? So we've got the whole body expert analysis. So that's basically your initial consultation. That's when we look at hormone imbalances, we look at what you've been eating previously, we basically look at everything. So we look at every different angle of how we're going to help you achieve your goal and lose the weight, whether it's, again, a hormone issue, a food issue, this issue, or whatever. So this is where we find all the answers and we lay out your plan. Total detox purification. So how many people here have done any sort of detox or purification ever, or even know what the heck I'm talking about? So we do a purification at the beginning of this program, and there's another slide in a little bit, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. But the reason we do this purification is because that is what is jump-starting everything. That is what's going to put you in the best, basically, mode to achieve your goals, lose the weight, change your lifestyle, you know, decrease your cholesterol, whatever you're looking to do. All right? Coaching, education, and motivation. So basically, this is where some of the group group meetings come in, because in this program we do group meetings, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a bit. But education and motivation and coaching you guys is a huge part of this. That's where the psychology comes in as well, because one, you got to be educated on this stuff. You can't just start a program and think that I'm going to drink 2 shakes a day and lose some weight, and then I don't want to think about anything else, and that's it. That's not going to work, because one, if you're educated, you're going to know how to maintain the weight loss in the future. And again, this program is all about personalizing your experience, personalizing your path, and then when you're all said and done, you know how to maintain it. You know how to keep it going. 95% of the time, diets fail. 80% of the time, when people lose weight, they gain it back. And most of the time it's because they're not educated, they don't know what to expect, and they don't know what happens when they start to lose weight. So we've got to coach you, educate you, and motivate you to make sure that, one, you achieve the goals you want, and two, you can maintain it going forward. Appetite and metabolism modification. Obviously this is a big one, so we're going to modulate your metabolism. We're going to basically ratchet it up so your body naturally burns more calories, burns more fat. We're going to put your body literally into a state of metabolism. What that means is your body's going to eat the excess things that it doesn't need. Eat the excess fat. An example of what people use a catabolic kind of diet or plan is in cancer patients. If they want the tumor to potentially shrink, they put them into a catabolic state because the body eats the excess tissue, basically. So, and we're also going to obviously affect cravings, positively change your appetite, and basically lead you down the road to a healthier lifestyle through that. Exercise smarter, not harder. So, what this is, and I'll get a little bit more into it, but basically we're going to teach you guys the best way to maximize your time when it comes to exercise, or whatever exercise you're doing or what you may not be doing now. We're going to really show you how to utilize whatever is available to you to make the most with whatever time you have put aside to exercise, basically. So we're going to show you how to exercise smarter, not harder. And again, these are choices you make, because everything we're going through, some people are going to be a little bit better in certain parts of this, some people are going to be a little bit better in others. You know, some people aren't going to exercise as much, so for them, other parts of the program are going to be a little bit more emphasized. So you got to choose to make these changes in your life, basically. So everybody's going to choose different things, because again, nobody's path is the same, because this is always personalized. You got to set goals, obviously. So the first step is to know what you're going for, and then once we have a goal set and we reach it, we can obviously maintain that. But it's important for you guys to really kind of realize at this point that, you know, all your goals shouldn't just be a number. You shouldn't just have a number in your head that you're focusing on. It's good to have something you want to get to, but your goal should really be to lead a healthier life going forward with all this new stuff that you basically gained through this program, because that's what's really going to maintain it. You know, if your long-term goal is to do this or this or this, or to live this way, then that's what's going to make it more real, instead of just going, well, I'm going to get to this weight, and then I don't know what I'm going to do after that. That's all I want, to just get to this weight, and then whatever, we'll see what comes next. So all this is really going to create success, and we'll get into now some of the results from the first group, which I'm sure you guys are kind of interested about. So the highest weight loss, and they're 2 months in, basically. So the highest weight loss we've had is 35.5 pounds, which is a lot. It's definitely a lot. And I know that I kind of talked about the idea of, you know, losing 30 pounds in 2 months is too much. And I'm not going to get into all the specifics about this, but this, when you're going through this program, you're not shedding, you know, you're not starving yourself. You're not losing a bunch of muscle, not losing all this and that, because we measure your fat percentage, we measure your muscle percentage, we measure your visceral fat percentage, so we know that your muscle percentage is not going down. We know that it's going up as well. So these people aren't becoming, you know, they're not starving their bodies. They're losing real good quality, basically, fat. The lowest weight loss was 16.7 pounds, which in 2 months, still pretty good. You know, especially for some people who, we had one person who started out pretty low, and this person was working out. This is one of the, I work out all the time, I eat really well, this and that, and this person is lost. This is what that that number is. That's what that person has lost, basically. And they were struggling to lose this weight for a long time. Average, so that puts the average weight loss at basically 24 pounds. Which, if you think about healthy, you know, the AMA says healthy weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's what you should kind of shoot for. That's generally a guideline. So over 2 months, that's basically around 16 pounds. But through this program, knowing that we haven't decreased muscle mass, we're able to have an average weight loss of 24 pounds. So that's, I mean, if you think about that, that's really, really good with no decrease in muscle mass, basically. So we're definitely beating the AMA guidelines by a lot with this program. So we basically take all things in. We look at specifically what's causing you to keep you from losing weight, or causing you to gain weight, this and that. So we look at and evaluate all the different weight loss blockers, basically. So comprehensive examination, identify your specific weight loss blockers, find out exactly what is or may keep you from losing weight. Analyze. We're looking at the physical, the hormonal, and the mental. We're looking at all different parts that go into a program like this. The purification program, that's the standard process purification program. So it's a whole food purification program, which means that it's made from actual food. It's not synthetically made, not Whole Foods as in the store. People always get that confused. So basically they're taking actual food and they're turning it into this purification. So you know it's nothing that's going to react with you, nothing that's going to cause a problem. It's all natural stuff.
What do you do with it?
We're going to get to that in just a little bit.
Okay.
We'll talk briefly. We're not going to get into the specifics of the purification probe, the heavy specifics, but we've got pamphlets here that talk about the purification program, and we can talk about that in just a little bit. So what this does is it jumpstarts your metabolism. All right? It removes the cellular inhibition, so it starts to work on those weight loss blockers, the things that aren't just related to, you know, your calories and your amount of exercise. It increases your energy. Everybody gets a huge increase in energy off doing this. It improves your digestion. So this is what really kickstarts everything, puts you on that right path, really enables you to achieve the goals that you're looking for. So this is a huge part of the program. It's the first 21 days, obviously. This is what makes a real big difference. 8 treatments. So in the program, you are going to come and see me 2 times, basically, before you see me normally in the program, one-on-one, 8 times, where we do these treatments, which consist of some of the stuff that you may already have done a little bit in the office when it comes to musculoskeletal pain. Obviously, if somebody has a muscle or a joint or whatever issue, we're going to have to address that too. Basically, when you're in this program, it's like you're a patient of mine, more or less, but now we're specifically focusing on weight loss. So these treatments consist of acupuncture, for weight loss, so that's a big part of it too. We do acupuncture for weight loss, metabolism, and appetite. Alright, so that's what's going to help help you with the cravings, help you with your appetite, all those various things. So we do acupuncture, and then we do some of the other stuff that we normally do in the office. The group seminars, so that should actually be 4 group seminars in the program, and it's 2 months, just in case you're wondering technically, but we do, I will see you guys at the end of the 3rd month to basically see how you're doing and make sure you're maintaining everything. But there's 4 group seminars, so roughly every 2 weeks. That's where we do a lot of the coaching, education, the motivational stuff, and it also makes you have that level of accountability, basically. So, you know, you're seeing other people in the group, and you kind of will hold yourself more accountable. That's why certain programs like Weight Watchers can be successful for some people, because that's maybe all they need. They need that accountability, and then they'll do all right. So we do the 4 group seminars. The personalized exercise program, so that's the work out smarter, not harder, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit more in a second, but that's where we're going to basically educate you really on how to maximize your time with whatever sort of workout you plan on doing to get the most results out of whatever amount of time you give yourself to exercise, basically. 9 dietary analysis. So in the dietary analysis, these are basically how we're looking at your progress. So you're going to come in, and we're going to, you know, check all the percentages, see how you're doing on this and that. Basically, this is when we'll evaluate if any changes need to be made when you're going through the program. We're going to initiate any sort of new elements to whatever kind of exercise you might be doing. Switch up potential supplements if we need to do any extra supplementation. So these are what the dietary analysis are. So when you come and see me one-on-one, you'll do the treatment for the weight loss with the acupuncture and then anything else we need to do, and then you'll do the dietary analysis where we look at how you're doing and how, if we need to change things or if you're doing good, you kind of keep going with what you're doing. So that's what that is. So initial examination, purification program, 8 treatments. I think that number just changed from 600 to 700. There. So now, okay.
It's going up.
Yeah, it's going up. Sorry, the price just went up. So anyways, don't worry about that specific number right now. So, and then the dietary analysis. So all this added up is a value of right around 1,500, basically. All right. So let me ask you a question real quick. If I told you you could lose some of the poundage that you saw here, the fat percentage, all that stuff that the first group had, you're going to know how to maintain it going forward as long as you don't totally fall off the boat, and you're going to achieve all the goals that you want to achieve. You know, if you could write me a check right now and make it happen instantly, you walk out the store and you achieve that goal. I mean, obviously that's impossible. But if you could do that, I mean, how many people would think that would be a reasonable thing to be able to do that? Obviously you can't just do that. But the idea here is this is a ton of value in a program, and there's no other, I can tell you right now, there's no other program that does all this stuff together. I mean, you can't find it anywhere else, basically. So, total value around $1,500. And what we're giving it to you guys for is an investment of $7.99, basically. So we're cutting the price in half, and I say investment because you're investing in your health. This is not like you're going to Macy's and buying a bunch of new clothes or you're buying some new toy. This is an investment in the rest of your life. Alright, so this is not your average thing. So $7.99, and also possible insurance acceptance on a case-by-case basis. Do you have a question? Okay. So insurance stuff, some plans cover certain things, so that's something we can talk about one-on-one. We're doing a family discount, so second participant, if, you know, husband, wife, basically direct family, not like your buddy Jay over here from down the road. It's an investment of $6.99 for immediate family. So we partnered with some of the gyms in the area. Our goal was to kind of include this originally, but we want to do a little bit differently. So we partnered with Lifetime Charter Fitness and 5 Seasons. And what you have, obviously, you've got 3 options. And you'll kind of see up there, you can go to Lifetime and get the 2-month pass plus the registration fee and the fitness evaluation, which is regularly $287. You can get it for $185 through our program. And this is all to help you guys jumpstart your fitness and get into exercising if it's something you're not doing at all or doing very little of. We're trying to make things as easy as possible for you to do, basically. Charter Fitness, you can do 2-month pass plus the registration fee, personal training 3 personal training sessions and the fitness evaluation, regularly $250 for $189 through the program. 5 Seasons, 2-month pass plus registration fee, fitness evaluation, which is regularly $350 for $204. Now that you don't have to think about right now, right this second. And really all this is about finding a higher purpose. So why are you doing this? You know, you're for yourself, maybe for your parents, for your spouse, child, a pet. I don't know, maybe you need to be healthier to walk your dog. A career, something you want to change in your career, your dreams. How can your life really be better through a program like this? Because it's not all about losing weight. It's about creating a better lifestyle going forward. How can you contribute more? My goal would be that, you know, you do great and you go out and you tell people, hey, I did this, whether they come and talk to me or not, but you inspire other people to improve their life and be healthier, because, you know, it just causes a chain reaction, basically. We had like a whole family in the first group, and they're all doing really great, and I'm sure if maybe one of them hadn't done the program, they'd probably be sitting here right now ready to do the program. So it kind of goes outwards. And you again, realize that you're going to become basically a kind of superior version of yourself at the end of this program, and you're going to live that way every day because you made these choices, it was personalized for you, and now you know how to maintain it because you've got the education and the coaching, and you've made all these decisions basically, and you know you can go forward and maintain this. So thank you guys, appreciate you coming out.